Good morning, 60 Gang. It's again. I am headed out to Fayetteville, Georgia on the eve of Thanksgiving. We got things to do. I was procrastinating, staying in the house, minding my business with my favorite friend called Cash. I said, "What you want, Cash?" He said, "Man, I need you to come pick me up." He said, I said, "Where you at?" He said, "I'm in Fayetteville, Georgia." I said, "I'll be right there, my boy." So I'm headed to Fayetteville, Georgia. Then I'm gonna head to go get the turkey and some peanut oil and the bank. So how you guys doing? So I hope y'all doing fine. I guess you guys are all getting ready for Thanksgiving, getting that turkey ready. Know what I am saying? Me and LaShawn, we're gonna get started in a couple hours. I'm waiting on her to get home. I was trying to wait for her to get home, but Cash called, said he needed a ride. He needed me to come pick him up, so I'm going to pick up Cash. Y'all know Cash. Cash is in Fayetteville, Georgia. So, like any good guy, I am going to go and pick up Cash, you feel me? And I'm going to take you guys with me. Put these on. Put the seatbelt on.
So AOC is robbing New Yorkers and lying to New Yorkers, doing basically Democrat things in a very Democrat way. So she put up and sent out emails a couple weeks ago that she was doing a fundraiser so that she could buy turkeys for the people in need in New York, all right? And this is her, this is her walking out with some turkeys, some ready to cook turkeys. This is from last year. But this is, I want you guys to see this. This is her post, okay? And this is a picture from, like I said, last year. This is 2024. And it's her with all these turkeys. And you can see down there, the Thanksgiving 2025, she is asking for money. And it says here, last year we gave out over 600 turkeys to families at Thanksgiving who didn't have one. This year we hope to double that number. And let me just say, I think it's great. Anytime anybody is out there helping people in need, I think it's great. All right, let's continue on. She says, please donate anything you can afford right now to give hundreds of families an opportunity to celebrate community, mutual aid, and gratitude this year. And then it has an amount, as low as $5 all the way up. And it says your contribution will benefit Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. All right. Now, I think it's great that she's doing this to help the people. I really do. The people who are going to get the turkeys, I think it's absolutely amazing. Whether you're Democrat, Independent, Republican, whoever you are, if you're helping to get some food on a table for a family, especially around the holidays, I think you're doing a really good thing. Until you're not, and it's proven that you are a shady little mofo like Alexandria Cortasio Alexandria or AOC, because her name is too damn long. All right, here's what we have here. So she sends out this email, basically asking people for money, as little as $5, but as much as you can possibly give. But here's the problem. When you go to hit the little donation link, it takes you to Act Blue, which is where you donate for Democrats and their campaigns. Now, AOC just happens to be in the middle of a campaign for her re-election for New York's District 14 next year, November 3rd, 2026. She's the one Democrat so far that has signed up for it against 4 Republicans. One of them, Tina Fort or Forte or whatever else, and then 3 other names that I try to pronounce. I butchered it. I've tried it 3 different times, and I decided we're not going to do it this time. But here's the problem. Already, as of September 30th, 2025, AOC has already amassed almost $20 million in donations for next year's election, like for the next year to use towards whatever it is she needs to use it towards for a campaign. And unfortunately, the next one below her in funding and fundraising is Tina, the Republican, who has only amassed $500,000. There's a massive difference there. Now, I guess if Tina would send out an email to people and be like, hey, if you want to donate some money for turkeys, then, that might help get her some money in her pocket under the pretense of turkeys like AOC here has done. But so far, Tina has integrity and morals and has not done that. And hopefully it will stay that way. But here's the thing. So AOC cooked up a new way to have her cake and eat it too this Thanksgiving. This is according to the New York Post. And this is exactly what she has done. She tied her annual turkey giveaway to her massive re-election campaign. So this is what her email says. The self-described Bronx girl, right? She says, Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away. And this is the email she wrote. Will you chip in $5 or anything you can today to help us bring the joy of the holiday season into homes around New York City this year? But the problem is when you click the link to go and, donate money that's supposed to go towards turkeys, it goes directly to a campaign fundraising page operated by ActBlue, where donors are prompted to make a one-time or recurring monthly donation. Here's the thing. When you're making this donation towards the turkeys, technically you're giving to charity at that point, right? Well, in theory, you should be able to then write it off on your taxes as a charitable donation. But the fact that it's going into ActBlue nixes the ability for you, the donor, to use it as a charitable contribution, because ActBlue is not a charity. It is the money funding location for Democrats, right? So you do all that, and then you don't get to claim any of it. And then dozens of polls across Gotham. AOC has given away hundreds of gobblers since 2019, but as rumors swirl about her run for Senate or even the White House in 2028, which we've talked about, the Democrats for some reason think AOC is smart enough to run the country. Between her and Jasmine Crockett, they are, juggling those two names on the presidential ballot for 2028. And I'm like, that is the most April Fool's thing I've ever heard in my life. Because Democrats are dumb. But please, dear Lord, tell me you're not that dumb. I know y'all, it's just, that to me is the dumbest thing they could possibly do. Anyway, we're back over here. Now, instead of having supporters send donations directly to community organizations organizing turkey drives, which would make the most sense and be the most, I want to use the word legal here, way to get these turkeys purchased for these families, the most non-shady way, right? That's what she did in 2021. She reported that she raised almost $34,000 for 3 local charities. She's now having them send money directly to her campaign. And it says here, a campaign is not supposed to be a pass-through for charitable work. This is according to a former city council minority leader, Joe Borelli. And he goes, what if she raised enough money for 1 million turkeys? Would she buy 1 million turkeys, or would she keep $990,000 for her campaign and then throw the rest of the turkeys out the back of a truck and take a photo op? Which is exactly what I was going to say and talk to you guys about before I read Joe's words here. I'm like, Joe, bro, you're in my head. We are thinking the exact same thing. Because here's the problem. When you, as a donator, go to donate to help, because you want people to get the turkeys, let's say she got $300,000 in donations. Let's just pull a number out. $300,000 in donations, right? Because it has gone to ActBlue, because there's no way to designate what that donation is for, she can easily say that people only donated $20,000 this year for turkeys. And then she can say, okay, well, they only donated $20,000 because nobody knows. It's not like you're going around checking with your neighbor, hey, did you send money to AOC for a turkey? How much did you send? And tallying it up. Nobody's doing that. There's nothing to prove how much was donated for turkeys versus for her campaign. And that is some shady stuff right there. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, well, what does she end up doing with the money that she gets? How many turkeys did she buy? Well, according to them, she did 1,600 turkeys this year. And then she donated an extra $20,000 on top of that because, she had it. And she's like, we're going to donate an extra $20,000 to charities. And it's like, okay, well, if that extra $20,000 was campaign money, can you donate it then? Is that how that works? Are you having to donate it from your own pockets? How are you proving that $20,000 was, like, there's a lot of questions going on here, right? But what makes it even better to me, there's no way of knowing how much money was donated to her campaign in the name of turkeys. Therefore, she could spend as much or as little on turkeys and donations as she wants and then pocket the rest for her campaign. So then I asked, I said, is there any proof that AOC used donations to buy turkeys for New Yorkers in 2025 for Thanksgiving? And she did. But here's the thing. There's substantial evidence that Rep. AOC organized a Thanksgiving turkey giveaway in 2025, distributing over 1,600 turkeys to families and food pantries. However, the donations solicited for this effort were routed directly to her congressional re-election campaign via ActBlue, a Democratic fundraising platform, rather than a registered charity. This has sparked significant controversy and criticism, with outlets accusing her of bait and switch tactic that blurs the line between charity and political fundraising. AOC's team has defended the approach, stating that campaign funds were used to purchase the turkeys and that excess funds went to local food pantries. But again, you have no proof of what the excess was. How much excess did you actually have? How do you know what's coming in for turkeys and what's not? Okay, there's that. The practice, though, unfortunately, appears to be legal under Federal Election Commission, the FEC rules, as campaigns can use funds for community outreach events, but it's uncommon. It is very uncommon because most New York City politicians coordinate drives through nonprofits to ensure tax-deductible charitable contributions. AOC has run similar turkey distributions. Here's the kicker. Annually, since entering Congress in 2019, this is the very first year that she shifted how the donations were handled. The very first year that she went shady as shit with how the donations are handled. Previously, they went straight to the charities. That way they were tax deductible. That way you knew exactly where it was going, where it was coming from. There was no question on if it was getting put in somebody's pocket or used for things that it was not meant to be used for. This year, though, AOC said, listen, we're going to go ahead and take as much as we possibly can, and we're going to let them donate it through Act Blue. They don't need to know exactly how much came through. We'll tell them it was a lot. We'll buy some extra turkeys. We'll send some extra money out. So it seems like we've done a really good thing, and maybe they won't question the fact that we've done something that, although legal, is highly frowned upon and shady as shit when it comes to the mixing of money and campaign stuff, right? I think it's absolutely crazy that is what is happening. So on November 8th is when the emails went out, and it says here, again, the donations do not qualify as charitable deductions. This was first exposed by the New York Post just a couple days ago, by the way. And then according to this, FEC filings for 2024 show AOC's campaign spent $13,101 on turkeys from Westside Foods in the Bronx just before Thanksgiving. This was last year, indicating a similar model last year. Her campaign manager, Oliver Hidalgo Wallabin, explained, this was last year, for our Thanksgiving turkey fundraiser, we set a goal that we raise towards, and if we surpass it, then we order more. All right, cool. But again, there's still no numbers there at all. There's no way to know if the money was spent the way it was supposed to be spent, and I think it's extra shady and needs to be looked into. But what are you going to do? Reach out to the mayor of New York? Because on January 1st, it'll be Zohran Mamdani. Right now, you have the holidays, and then December holidays, and then all this other stuff, and it would take forever, and then we'll get to it when we get to it. And then by then, Mamdani's in office, and Mamdani and AOC are like little besties. There's a video of them, a photo op of them at some restaurant eating momos, which I don't know what those are. Forgive me, I don't know if it's a thing, but momos, and they're taking the pictures and doing all the stuff, and Mamdani posted it because he was so excited to be able to eat lunch with his congresswoman who helped him campaign and whatever else. So they will constantly have each other's backs and, you know, probably fudge a lot of stuff, make some shady stuff look a little less shady, however they do that. It's I don't like it. Personally, that's just me. I'm not a huge fan of it and the way things are going there, but it is what it is. And then I was talking to my husband, Kevin, about the fact that, you know, Bill Maher, I know you guys have seen him. He's always talking to Republicans on his show, which I thought was very interesting. And I'm like, I used to think he was a Democrat. Like, he talked like he was. So I always assumed he didn't like Republicans, but how come Democrats aren't on his show? And then, you know, because our devices listens to every damn thing we say, X just happened to show me this video with Bill Maher, and it says, holy cow, Bill Maher just admitted Republicans show up in his show and called out Democrats for never showing up. He said the Democrats do not. Stop asking me why the Clintons have never been on the show. They're invited. AOC has been invited. All these people, they never come. Ask them. They don't show up, which is, you know, what he's saying there. I can't play it because that's Nancy Mace, by the way. She's the one who's constantly going after the Tim McBride. I think he named himself, what he named himself? Julie McBride? Some name. I don't remember his name. But it's some guy who happens to be in Congress who wanted to use Nancy Mace's bathroom. And she's like, sir, no, because just because you dressed up as a woman doesn't make you one. You're not using my bathroom. I can't remember that guy's first name that he parades around with as a like pretending to be a female. Anyway, so you have that going on, and the shadiness of everything is always crazy to me. Like, the Democrats are constantly running their mouths about everything under the sun, but when they're given a platform to discuss it, they don't take it unless it's with their own people, probably because they know Republicans will call them out on their bullshit every single chance possible, and then bring the facts to prove that they're full of shit or lying or ignorant or whatever else. So maybe that's why they don't do it. But either way, then you have AOC once again here. You have her joining her traitorous Democrat ilk and commits sedition by telling U.S. military to disobey official orders from their superiors, including President Trump. And then this says, you know, people should arrest AOC. But listen, I want you to hear just what she has to say. Let's turn up the volume. You guys ready for it? Listen.
To be honest, the president's remarks are, I think, indicate a level of instability. It's not just shocking, it's not just offensive, it's bizarre, it is erratic, it's volatile.
Volatile?
And I think it indicates a mental state that we should all be questioning right now. And that's
Did she talk the same way when Joe Biden got up and couldn't string a sentence together to literally save his life? Like, could not at all, then had a little anger outburst, forgot where he was walking, said some really stupid things, like something about in his ass or in somebody's ass when he was out talking. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I remember going, that's not how you're supposed to say that, sir. You think she said anything then? Probably not. But because it's President Trump and because it's a Republican, now she's really worried about the current president and his health and his mental abilities and things like that, which is whatever. But speaking of all of this, I feel bad for the people of New York in general. And I know it's done because they voted it in. Not everybody, but like we saw with the Mamdani votes, only like 15% of people showed up to vote. And of that percentage, they happen to be under the age of 35. And they all happen to be morons who all they heard was free, free, free and decided to vote for it. If the people of New York want better for themselves, the state of New York, the city of New York, they need to get off their asses and go out and vote in the midterm elections in 2026. If you want something better than a person, a congresswoman who, you know, steals your donations and spends it on her campaign instead of on the turkeys for the people, or you want something better than a mayor who wants to, you know, take people's houses that, you know, if they make enough money, obviously you have to make enough money to take their house, but he wants to take their houses and open it up for the homeless. He wants to, you know, close down the grocery stores and open up government grocery stores. He wants the buses to be free, which is then just going to invite as much homelessness and violence on the buses as possible. It's going to be absolute, a complete shit show in New York.
Grandma, it's crazy how they doing everything. So if you've been on Section 8 for 20, 30, 40 years, they're telling you that you got to be out of there.
The entitlement is just getting out of control. You know, this woman says U.S. taxpayers aren't giving her enough money with food stamps and Section 8. I don't know what's going on in America, but you got a lot of people in their 20s and 30s that are on Section 8 and food stamps. When originally people who are on Section 8 and food stamps either like literally can't work or like they're actually in need, like the economic situation is really bad, like they literally have no job, like even though they keep trying to find a job. And a lot of times people are just on those government assistance programs for a very, very short amount of time, like a few months, and then they hop off, they get a real job. But nowadays people are just on these government assistance programs for years, even decades, and some are literally complaining they're not getting love. That's crazy. I don't know what's going on in America right now. The fact that so many people are basically on Section 8 just kind of shows you that there needs to be some sort of checks and balances, because nobody has ever touched these assistance programs, but it's a very touchy subject. But now the current administration wants to put restrictions on Section 8, like a 2-year limit. They want to put restriction on food stamps, only having people who actually need food stamps to get food stamps. Check out some of these videos.
So I'm hearing that they're supposed to be doing away with Section 8. I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, it's about time. We got too many people that's taking advantage of the system. Too many people sitting around doing absolutely nothing. And guess what? We tired of it. Us working people are paying for you to sit around and do nothing. So while we out working 2 and 3 jobs, busting our chops and missing time away from our family, y'all at home chilling. Y'all up on the new Jordans, all the new clothes, all the new gadgets and gadgets, all the jewelry, all the bling, and all our hard-working money is going to food in the house and bills. We can't even spend that money on ourselves. More time at work than it is at home. It's not fair. It's time to get up, y'all. If you ain't disabled, if you have 2 working hands and 2 working feet, you gonna get up and you gonna get to work. It's the harsh reality. I am seeing so many videos about people complaining about losing their Section 8. I'm seeing so many videos. They are blaming Trump because they're going to lose their Section 8 in 2 years. Blame your daddy Biden. Because if Biden hadn't been letting those illegal immigrants over here, giving them all of the resources that were for American citizens, Trump would not have to come back into the presidency to clean up the mess that he created by giving resources, money, and funds away to people that were not citizens. And sadly, this is affecting you all. And being an ex-recipient of Section 8, I gave this shit back. Because see, one thing I realized about Section 8 is that it will hinder you and it will keep you stagnant and not wanting to do anything with your life. And once I saw that and realized that I struggled more when I was on Section 8 than ever. The only time Section 8 ever helped me out is when I quit my motherfucking job to get my CDL. That's the only time Section 8 ever helped me out. Other than that, the whole time I was on Section 8, I don't know what kind of Section 8 I had, but I was paying the majority of the goddamn rent. And the housing authority wasn't paying shit. So I gave that shit back. So if you are an able-bodied person, find you something to do in the next 2 years. Okay? If you're not a senior citizen and retired and you don't have a disability, then you don't need to be on Section 8. 2 years is enough for you to get yourself on your feet and get it together. But I will say this, something has got to change, because when I was on Section 8, I couldn't save no goddamn money, because every 10 cent, 11 cent, 12 cent raise I got made the portion of rent I had to pay go up. And every time I had to pay rent in, they'll take something else away. And now I was understanding why people would be like, I can't work more than 20 hours this week. I can't work more than 30 hours. It keep you dependent on the system. And you end up not being shit. And once I realized that shit, I said, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. And this was 2007. And here we are in 2025. Baby, and I ain't looked back since. I have not looked back since. So I advise everybody that's on here talking about you're going to lose your Section 8 in 2 years. You got 2 years to get yourself together and see what you can do with your life to better your life, because you have been dependent on the system and it has been letting you just not be shit. And I'm sorry to say it like that, because I almost became like that. But because of the type of person I am, I was like, oh, hell no, because I can see where this is going. I can see where this is going. So, I was like, no. Yeah. So the only time Section 8 benefited me is when I quit my goddamn job and I got my CDL. And I have not looked back. And my caseworker was like, baby, you sure? You sure you want to let this go? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, I have struggled so much under Section 8. I ain't never struggled like this before. I said, can I gift it to somebody else? Can I give it to somebody else? She was like, no, you can't do that. She said, but I'm going to tell you. She's like, you can't ever apply again if you decline this voucher. I said, ma'am, I don't ever want to apply again. I hope I never have to apply again. This has been the worst experience ever. And I was like, and I didn't understand what the hell was going on, because I knew people that was on Section 8. Section 8 was paying their rent. Section 8 was paying their utility bill. They weren't messing with their food stamps. What the hell? What kind of Section 8 did I have? Damn. Anyway, y'all can't blame that shit on Trump. Y'all blame that shit on Biden. He the one was giving that assistance to people. I applied for Section 8 in 1998, and I didn't get approved till 2007 or 2008. I know it took a long goddamn time for me to get approved for it. And you letting people come over in this country illegally come over in this country and you still got your own citizens on the waiting list for Section 8, and you bypass them and you give them Section 8 and give them hundreds and thousands of dollars in food stamps, and you ain't even trying to take care of the people on Social Security. Let me not get on my elderly parents, okay? My elderly parents that are drawing Social Security, they have put into this society and are now retired, apply for food stamps. You tell them they don't qualify. All they qualify is for $16, y'all. $16 is what they were qualified for. But you can give an illegal immigrant thousands of food stamps and they ain't contributed shit to this country. Shit to this country. You need to be upset with Biden. Because had he not did that bullshit, Trump probably wouldn't even be messed with y'all right about now. So take your anger and your attitude and turn it towards Biden, the crippled ass. That's who you talk about when you get on here and complain about the goddamn Section 8. The fuck up.
Listen, before y'all get on here and argue with me, because let's try to get his sister together. I'm not arguing with nobody that has a voucher or nobody that's defrauding the system. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Now I could keep going if you want to keep going. I could just call a state too. Okay, because I think if somebody got a Section 8 voucher, I think only the people on the voucher are supposed to be staying there. I don't think it's supposed to be a whole bunch of different people. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, but what I'm not gonna do is go back and forth with you when I'm gonna just call a state on you. I'm just not gonna do it. Like, you're not gonna come on my phone, you're not gonna harass me, you're not gonna do any of that. Okay? Especially when I'm funding your state. You're just not gonna do it. When you're committing government fraud. We're just not gonna do it. Okay? So it's just important to remember before y'all get online and y'all come at people, or before you text people's phones, or you try to harass them, or let your brother or anybody put a battery in your back, make sure that y'all don't need the state. Make sure that you're following all the guidelines. Okay? All right. Thanks. Have a good.
Okay, so it's a lady in Memphis crying about her food stamps being gone. She got 5 kids. My question to this lady in Memphis, if you knew you couldn't take care of 1 and 2, why did you have 3, 4, and 5? I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I don't feel sorry for none of these folks out here crying about no damn food stamps. Not even a little bit. I mean, y'all need to get out there and figure it out like the rest of us do. But another question is, where's your baby daddies at? Y'all sit here crying and yelling, screaming, hooting, hollering about your food stamps getting taken away. Where's your baby daddy? Why you not raising such a big fuss about your baby daddy not helping you? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Am I wrong? I don't care what y'all say, because I'm going to feel how I feel. I'm not going to change it. I don't feel sorry for them. Not even a little bit. Are y'all feeling sorry for all these yahoos out here crying about food stamps? Get the fuck out of here.
Hey guys, so my mom just got a letter in the mail saying that they are now no longer doing the Section 8 program. And I was wondering if you guys like sit with me for a minute, so you know she don't have to join the homeless crew, okay? Because yeah, my mom handicapped. She can't work. She literally cannot work. All she get is her disability check a month, and that will not afford this rent plus the other bills plus food. So please. And I kind of like, I should have known whenever they took my food stamps, because baby, I didn't get food stamps this month. I did not get food stamps this month, and I didn't get my refund check. I didn't even get my refund check from school yet. So like, the government is really stopping things, and this is crazy. Cause baby, I need my refund check. I need my food stamps. Like, bro, imagine all the families, like the people who got all them kids. Like, that is crazy. That is crazy, because I know a lot of people who got a lot of kids, and they wouldn't be able to feed anybody if they didn't have them food stamps, and they really stopped them. Look, I'm a kid myself, and I'm not eating. It's probably for the best, but not best that took the food stamps, but the best that I'm not eating that much, because I do need to slow down. But yeah, can you guys please sit here with me for a minute? Thank you for sitting here with me and watching my video.
So guys, I'm making this video because I made a post about people that have been on Section 8 since 1994, and I see a lot of you guys are getting upset about it, and I know most of you guys that are getting upset about it is because it's y'all. I don't care what any of you guys say. Stop making excuses for people that have been on that Section 8 for that long. You guys have been on there so long to the point that people that are trying to apply cannot get in. Those people have been on that wait list for 15 plus years because you guys got so comfortable without paying anything that you guys want to just stay and lower yourself like that. It should not be like that at all. Then you guys aren't mentioning how those people that aren't barely paying anything, they can't pay $20, $8 worth of rent. Also, these are same people that be moving strangers inside of their homes that's not supposed to be there. Let's not talk about that. These are the same people that's not bettering themselves. If they pay most of your rent, go to school and work part-time. Do something else with the extra time that you have. Y'all aren't talking about how these same people are continuously having more children on Section 8. Why are you doing that to them children? Why? And y'all also are not talking about how these same people that's on there for years walking around here with expensive nails, expensive lace fronts, expensive lashes. I'm talking about going on vacation. You shouldn't be doing none of that if you on Section 8, baby. You need to be getting your life together, because that's just me. That's what I would have did if I was doing it. Why I'm out here enjoying myself with the money that I need to be saving to get me a house? Y'all don't make no sense. Stop trying to take up because it's y'all. At the end of the day, it's still the truth is the truth. And I understand that y'all can say that everybody's situation is different. I'm not talking about no people that's disabled. Stop trying to throw that out there. We're not talking about them people. We're talking about the able-bodied people that's around here taking advantage. And y'all quick to say, oh, they can't do fraud. They report that. Girl, stop lying. I knew some people that was doing it. You can do fraud on that. You can literally do fraud on there. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. I don't care about none of that y'all talking about. Get it together, please.
Section 8, baby, let's talk about it. Section 8 is a blessing. It was created to help people who are struggling, not as a trap, but as a trampoline. It's supposed to give folks room to breathe while they rebuild. Mentally, financially, emotionally, spiritually. Let's be real, not everybody uses this like that. Instead of elevating, some people are doing everything that they can to stay stuck. And it's not because they can't grow. It's because they've grown comfortable in struggle. The first thing is, if I make too much money, they'll raise my rent. So instead of leveling up their income, people start turning down hours, quitting jobs, choosing under the table work. They can keep their rent low. They fear abundance because they believe to condition that more success equals less support. What they don't realize is they're capping their own potential just to stay small. A lot of people feel like, why leave if I'm comfortable? Some folks get used to paying $0 to $20 of rent, so they just stop striving. They stop planning to own a home, improving their credit, or breaking generational curses. It just sit. Meanwhile, people with the real needs, single mom with disabled kids, the elderly, folks on disability, are sitting on the waiting list for years. They attach their identity to struggle. Struggle becomes familiar. Growth feels uncomfortable. So they stay where it's safe. They don't have to change, risk, or expand. It's not always laziness. Sometimes it's trauma and fear. But the result is the same. They block their own elevation. Some people like to game the system. Not about who lives in the home, not reporting full income, having partners who live rent-free but aren't on the lease. Then they'll get mad at the system, and they're the ones manipulating it. This isn't survival anymore, baby. That's entitlement. But here's who hurts in the process. Disabled parent is trying to get safe housing for their child in a wheelchair. Young G woman fresh out of a DV relationship is working 2 jobs and still can't afford rent or a place to stay. Grandmother who's raising her grandkids with no support and no place to stay. They're not asking for handouts. They're asking for a chance. The chance is taken by people who don't want to grow because their rent will change. Section 8 is not the problem. The mindset is. Let's be clear, crystal fucking clear. This is not about race either. White people are on Section 8, Hispanic folks, Asians, Black people. Okay, so it's nothing about race. This isn't a race issue. It's a personal responsibility issue. We need to stop letting shame, comfort, or fear keeping us from stepping up or stepping off when the time is right. Nobody is saying get off tomorrow. Nobody is saying that you don't deserve help. I'm not saying that. But if you're sitting on Section 8 year after year, not working, not growing, not healing, not planning for better, then you're blocking someone else's breakthrough. Use it to heal. Use it to breathe. But most of all, use it to elevate. Because Section 8 isn't supposed to be forever. It's supposed to be your bounce back. And y'all know I had to add this in there. Some of y'all are not stuck because of the system. You stuck because of your own fucking mindset. And you need to realize that. Having boyfriends live in your house, rent-free, not helping you pay a dime, and allowing you to sit on Section 8 is diabolical. Not only is it a violation of your lease, baby, it's a violation of your peace. Do you hear me? Not only are you risking your fucking voucher, you're risking your kid's stability and your safety just to say you have a man in your bed. And let's be real, most of the time, these type of dudes are not building you up. They're bringing chaos, drama, toxic energy, and most especially illegal activity to your home. You're doing everything to protect a grown man while risking the one thing that's keeping housing over your head. Protect that voucher, boo. There's people out here that have been waiting on the Section 8 waiting list for years. They've been in DV relationships and going through the most terrible things, and they really need it. And some of y'all have the opportunity and you're fucking it up and you're playing with it. Hey, it's your life. Live how you want to live, but don't complain about what the system not doing when you're not doing nothing to elevate your fucking life.
My kids have not eaten in 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids.
Trump done cut them food stamps out. If you're poor, don't have kids, okay? If you're struggling, don't have kids. Don't bring more in. If you already have them, that's another situation. If you don't have them, don't bring any in. And if you have 2, don't go having another one. If you have 1, don't go having 2 more.
So they say $2 million is getting cut off this month for the stamps. I'm about to go find out if I'm in that number, in that ratio. It's been day 5 and I have not received no food stamps. My disability checks is on hold. My cash benefits is not coming no more. They're still pending. It is the taxpayer's job to pay for my kids to eat and for my kids to be taken care of. I have over 2,000 followers on TikTok and I can't get not one person to send me 50 cents. If you're watching video and you can't send me nothing, I'm blocking you.
Lee with Housing Authority. Hey, how you doing, sir? It's Jasmine Thornton there? Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Lee with Housing Authority. We're here to serve an eviction. I don't know, they said that you people, that you had, 30-day notice, everything. Hold on, sir, please, sir, don't touch him. No, sir, listen, everybody calm down. Okay, who is who's this now? That's my boyfriend. Oh, okay. How you doing? I'm Lee with Housing Authority. She is currently late on her rent, 3 months behind. Late on my rent? Yeah. Yeah, and this is our mover. He's moving things. He's the one that's part of my team. Hello. Listen, bro. Listen. Can you tell something? Listen, y'all. Everybody, calm down. Everybody just relax. He is supposed to be moving things. Listen, bro. Listen, I need everybody to come. Listen, bro. Calm. You need to relax, bro. Listen, you need to calm down. Listen, bro. He is doing his job. He is doing his job. He is doing his job. Listen. You tell me. Listen. I got the letter right here. Listen. Here's the letter. Here you go. I ain't never get none of this. So they said they've been giving you notices for like the past 3 months. You haven't been. You're late. They give you 30 days. I paid. What you talking about? You should have paid this earlier. I paid it. Listen. Watch out. Listen, but hey, sir, we got. Hold on. We got to call authorities. Take that, boy. Relax. We have to call authorities. This stuff has to go. She had the 30-day notice. This is the day. We served an eviction. She didn't go to court. She didn't even show up. Sir, I didn't know nothing about this. That's going on right now. No. And you ain't giving no letter, but y'all just now showing us. Though we sent it to. Sir, can you please?
What's going on?
Sir, can you calm down?
Tell me what's going on, bro.
Sir, can you calm?
You ain't telling me enough information.
Hey, call. Listen,
This ain't that, boss.
listen,
This ain't that.
sir.
This ain't that.
Tell me, relax, bro. Listen, you need to calm down. Listen, sir. Do your job. Do your job. Listen, so.
That's fine.
It's fine. Bro, move
that ring instead of them flat screens.
Move all this stuff up.
Obviously, it's fine.
Sir.
Look at it, bro. Watch out, bro. I got my.
Well, move you need to get out. 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 Whatever you gotta do. Get it.
I'm sit right by the door. Wait.
No, you gotta get out this house, sir. You need to go out this house. Everything. So grab. We'll give y'all a couple minutes to grab whatever you're gonna get.
What's going on?
Do you have any hip babies?
We got the babies. Don't worry about all that.
Like I said, man, they said you missed court. They said you didn't come. All that. So
I left the baby right here. It's a baby right here, y'all. No, that's my son. I know. He good.
So, hey, so you can start. You can move with that court. You can start by with that court. They're not taking that. You can take that. Just start moving someone. Sir, do we have to call the authorities? We have to get this stuff out. We gotta go. We gotta get all this stuff out. Okay, I conducted my investigation. Job authority. Everything is good. Get what y'all gotta get. We can move the stuff I got. I'm gonna give y'all an hour.
And the meltdown is starting over Section 8. Y'all can't seem to comprehend this has actually happened in real life. Like, it doesn't apply to you for some odd goddamn reason. Now, I'm going to give you an example. If you go and rent an apartment, okay, in a complex that only allows a minimum of 5 people, I'm going to put it for you to understand, and you move in 8 people, well, that is a clear violation of your lease, and you get to be booted out if you don't boot them out. The same rules apply for Section 8. If you are a legal immigrant or a citizen and receive Section 8, and you have people in your house that is an illegal immigrant, because of the new rules and regulation President Donald Trump put out there, allowing no illegals to receive any type of benefits, that means you violated the Section 8 rule. Okay? So if you, your mom, whoever, somebody is an illegal immigrant living in your house, you get to say goodbye to your Section 8. I don't see what the big problem is. Follow the rules, boot them out, and be done with it and continue receiving your Section 8. But y'all can't comprehend.
Well, I hate to say I was right, but I was right. I told y'all Trump was gonna cut off these food stamps, and here's the part they ain't telling y'all. Y'all ain't gonna get them back. They ain't coming back. A lot of y'all that's sitting at home, y'all got 8, 9 kids, you don't want to work, and that's the only reason you're on government assistance. It ain't coming back. You ain't gonna never get it back. And this is just step 1. Let me say it again. This is only step 1, because next is gonna be the Section 8 and WIC and all of that. It ain't coming back. The American people don't want to take care of you freeloaders anymore, and Donald Trump is stopping it. So at first we're gonna start with these food stamps. A lot of y'all ain't gonna ever get them back. The elderly and the people that are disabled, yeah, they gonna be all right. But y'all that's just sitting at home, got 8, 9 kids that don't want to work, you ain't getting it back. Next we going after the Section 8, because y'all don't want to work, but you want the government to take care of y'all. I tried to warn you. But you didn't want to listen. You get on here and call me all types of names. Now look at you.
What's funny to me is seeing people say, get off Section 8 and get a job, when they don't know that you can't even really qualify for Section 8 if you don't have a job. Not everybody on Section 8 is jobless. Most of the people on Section 8 have a job. They're taxpayers.
Man, I'm really glad that these food stamps are being taken away because, you know, that shit was, all that government assistance shit was designed to keep the black man out of the household anyway. That was the incentive. Don't have a man in the house, and these women get to have the government assistance. All that money and food stamps, feeling like they don't need a man. I'm glad that food stamps still gone. Now the average guy that makes $40,000 to maybe $50,000 a year will be appreciated and loved on more now. Yeah, all that $100,000 stuff, yeah, that stuff ain't never made sense. You know what I'm saying? It's possible for a man to make that, but the average guy ain't making it. Maybe the average guy can get some love now, man. Thank you, Trump. The average man can get some love now. Because these women, man, have become so delusional over these past few years, it don't even make no sense, man. I'm glad they're taking these food stamps away. I'm 100%, like, I'm really utterly and I'm in bliss right now. Like, I'm glad they're taking it away. Maybe the average man can get some love now. Yeah.
Because most of the bill is common sense. It's tax cuts, it's border wall funding, it's military funding properly spent. It's all things that are like common sense. They're all good. There's nothing tricky about it. It's basic stuff. And we don't intend on getting one, think of it, not one Democrat vote in the House. Mike, not one. Maybe somebody will come along. I don't know how they can run for office. So many different things. We're gonna very important, Medicare and Medicaid are gonna be strengthened, not hurt. You know, they're using fake narrative. No, they're going to be strengthened. We're going to strengthen them. They're going to destroy them because under their policies, Medicare and Medicaid go away. Senate, the House, the whole thing. It's incredible. I was going to sign a executive order and give it a shot. But the one good thing with this, number one, it holds up forever. And number two, unless somebody votes it out, they'll never do that. And it's just so much better, huh? It's so much better. That's so great. Very proud of you. We're joined today by the great Speaker of the House. I think he's going to go down as a great Speaker of the House, too. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. Who knows? Who the hell knows? I think he is. And he's doing something, the only thing I would say is more important than this one, and I'll tell you what, it's almost close. That's how big this is today. But the great, big, beautiful, I added the word great, you know, I used the word. The great, big, beautiful bill. It's going to be one of the most, I said it this morning to a group, I think it's the most important, one of the most important pieces of legislation ever signed, ever approved. So it's going to be something very special. Thank you very much. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, thank you. Secretary Sean Duffy. And they had a problem in India today, and you're on that. Sean's doing a tremendous job. Secretary Chris Wright, everybody said you'd never be able to get him. He's the most talented man, they say, in the oil and gas industry. I'll let you know in about 2 years if that's true. Well, Doug Burgum, you know, I wanted Doug Burgum to head up energy because he was so successful in North Dakota. He's governor. And he said, sir, there's one person who's much better than me. I said, who? They said, Chris Wright. I said, who the hell is Chris Wright? I had no idea. Now everyone knows Chris Wright. He's going to be more famous than me. But he said, there's a guy named Chris Wright, and if we could get him, he'd be better than I am, sir. And if you know Doug, Doug's not here, is he? If you knew Doug, he's always working someplace. But if you knew Doug, you'd know that he doesn't say that often. And he did. And Chris, you're doing great. But I don't like the oil prices have gone up just a little bit over the last few days. I was going to call it, just really start screaming at you. Are we okay? Nothing wrong, right? It's going to keep going down a little bit, right? Because we have inflation under control perfectly. You probably saw the records. Everyone's on television saying, what's going on here? Trump has proven to be right. You know, all of these things. We've taken in $88 billion in tariffs in 2 months. $88 billion with no inflation. And if we're smart, there won't be. Now, we'd like to get this guy to lower interest rates because, you know, if he doesn't, we have to pay. We have a lot of short-term debt. Obama gave it to us originally, and Biden carried it on. They like short-term. I like long-term cheap debt. But a lot of the debt comes through because Biden, he didn't do it. I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. But somebody approved short-term debt. It's all over the place. And it comes due starting very soon. And if we would lower the interest rates by 1 point, we'd pay about 1 point less. That's $300 billion a year. Can you believe it? 1 point. If he'd lower it by 2 points, we'd pay $600 billion a year less. That's for years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever we make it. But we can't get this guy to do it. And the fake news is saying, oh, if you fired him, it would be so bad. It would be so bad. I don't know why it would be so bad, but I'm not going to fire him. I just want him to, we call him Too Late, right? Too Late is his nickname, like Too Tall Jones. He was too tall, T-O-L. And I just say this because we want to get rid of inflation, and we have. But we're going to be paying more for debt. And all he has to do is lower it. Europe's done 10 lowerings. We've done none. And nobody understands it. Actually, today when the numbers came out, they were so good. You saw yesterday's numbers, incredible. No inflation. Today's numbers. Today just came out, same thing, no inflation. They're all shocked. All these guys are watching from business, CNBC, and all of these different networks. Maria Bartiromo actually got it right. She's been getting it right for a long time, that one. I hope she's appreciated. And Joe Kiernan's been very good at CNBC, I must tell you, but other people aren't so good. But I will say that they can't believe what's happening. But if I could, because we can discuss, we get a lot of press, we get a lot of cameras rolling right now. Not that I like doing it, because I don't. But if we cut our interest by 1 point, for years, we save $300 billion. If we cut it by 2 points, we save, because it's pretty equivalent. We're going to spend $600 billion a year, $600 billion, because of one numbskull that sits here. I don't see enough reason to cut the rates now. And the problem he's got is that, and I explained to him, look, if inflation went up, cut your rates now. There's no inflation. We got it down. We got prices down. We got gasoline down. And you'll keep it going down. But gasoline's down. We'll drill, it's drill, baby, drill. That's why it's going down. But we're all that. But think of it. I said to him, he was in my office a couple of days ago. I said, if you think there's inflation, let's find out. Because I think we're going to keep it down. I think gasoline's going to be so far down. Oil, energy, it's so much energy. We have so much energy, we don't know what to do with it. But let's say there was inflation in a year from now. Raise your rates. I don't mind. Raise your rates. I'm all for it. I'll be the one I'll be calling you. He'll be too late for that too. But raise your rates. You don't have to keep them up here. If it's going to go up, I'm okay with you raising, but it's down. And we're going out to financing. And I may have to force something. Somebody said, who's the genius that thought of that? I said, it's me. Unlike Biden, I stay awake at night thinking about how to save our country. He was much better at sleeping than me. Could sleep at a beach. He could sleep at a beach with cameras rolling. I can't do that. But I had an idea. I gave it. They said, we'll go short term for a year. Let this guy get out of office. Somebody will come in, cut it a couple of points, and we'll save ourselves $7, $8, maybe even $900 billion a year. What is he doing? Why doesn't he lower these rates? And with that, we'll get on to the California standard, which is a disaster, okay? So, Chris Wright, you're going to get the numbers down. Thank you very much. Lee Zeldin, one of the most important men in this room. He's the man. I get nervous when I talk to him. He's doing a great job. Nuclear, I say, okay, you can take 2 weeks for that approval. It used to take 20 years, then they wouldn't approve it. Now I say, Lee, Nuclear, I'll give you 2 weeks for an approval. A coal-fired plant, you only get a couple of days. And oil and gas will give you a week, okay? Something like that. But he's doing it so fast, and we have so many plants being built right now. It's so beautiful to see. And one of the reasons they're coming here is because they have to produce tremendous, especially the AI, they have to produce beyond believable amounts of electricity. And they're doing, I said to them, I think this was more or less my idea. They didn't have the idea only because they didn't think a thing like this was possible. I said, as you build your plant, you're going to become a utility. And you're going to build a separate plant right alongside of it. You're going to build it. You're going to build a plant that produces electricity. And you'll produce it through natural gas, coal, nuclear. We don't want to produce it through wind because we don't feel like ruining 50 miles of beautiful plains and beautiful vistas. And but we want to produce it. You know, interestingly, China's opening up a coal plant every single week. But now I'm finding out it might be 2 plants every single week. And, you know, usually that's a good gauge. If they're using coal, I guess we're supposed to use coal. And, you know, we went to a coal standard. And not that you have to use coal. You're going to use whatever's best. I want to introduce also Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, who's a tremendous guy, doctor. Okay. And he is a tremendous guy, tremendously talented doctor. When I have a medical situation for the country, for myself, I haven't used him, but I might have to. Maybe I'll do that. If it's serious enough, I think I'd probably do that. But he's a tremendously talented gentleman who happens to be a senator and one that's very respected. Chairwoman Shelley Moore Capito, and congratulations. I just endorsed your son. Did you know that? I endorsed your son. I endorsed your son, who's running in West Virginia, and he's great. In fact, he's all Trump all the time. I think much more so than you, actually. You were his largest impediment. No, I'm only kidding. He's all Trump all the time, and he's going to win big, and so congratulate him, okay? He's really been fantastic. So many people have told me. Thank you. And House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, who's a brave man who went through hell. Steve went through hell. And we have a lot of other people here that I won't be able to because I don't have your name down, and I'm looking and I see people's names. I'll do a couple of you, but thanks as well to Mark Wayne Mullen, Senator. Mark Wayne, thank you. Sit up, Mark Wayne. Don't fight him. He's a serious fighter in a lot of ways, and he's a great guy, too. Thank you, Mark Wayne. Deb Fisher. Deb? Thank you, Deb. Good. Pete Ricketts, who's going to do very well in the upcoming election. Thank you. Thank you, Pete. John Husted, who's really moving along in Ohio. John, good luck. You're going to do well. All endorsed people. John Curtis, who's doing terrifically. John, thank you. Good job. They all say excellent. What can I tell you? Good job. And Bernie Moreno, who won a race that was not winnable. They all said it's not winnable. He won in Ohio. They said you can't win that race. It's a waste of time. You're just wasting your time. Right, Bernie? Wasn't a waste of time, was it? Huh? And he won by like 5 points, too. Won by a lot. Along with Representatives Kevin Kiley, Vince Fong, Jay Obernolte, Doug LaMalfa, Daryl Issa. Where's Daryl? I haven't seen you in such a long time. Look at you. How good you look, huh? Good when you have those big margins. It's easier. John Joyce, great guy. John, thank you. Thank you, John. Dusty Johnson, Morgan Griffith, Troy Balderson. Troy from a place called Ohio. And he played very cute at one time, but then he got, boy, I'll tell you, he's become a good politician. Where is Troy now? Where I haven't seen him used for years. I endorsed you early when he was early and younger, but you still look young, and you've done fantastically good. Good work, really good work. Claudia Tenney, New York. Claudia, thank you, Claudia. John James. I don't know. You know, he's running for governor, but I'm not sure I'm happy about that, John. Do we have somebody good to take your seat? Because otherwise we're not letting him run for governor. We can't. You have somebody good, right? Okay. As long as you like him, they'll win. Tracy Mann. Tracy, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Michael Baumgartner. Michael. Thank you, Michael. Good job. David Rouser. Thank you. Glenn Grothman. Hi, Glenn. Thank you very much, Glenn. Brett Guthrie. Brett. Thank you, Brett. Rudy Yackham. Thank you. Thank you, Rudy. And I want to thank you all. There's some additional people in the room, but we have to get back to this. Is like so big. This is a big one. Under the previous administration, I could go point after point, everything they did, open borders, men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, let's go transgender. What a group of people you had over there. They must have hated our country. Under the previous administration, the federal government gave left-wing radicals in California dictatorial powers to control the future of the entire car industry all over the country, all over the world, actually. Because they have to build a car. They can't build 19 different cars called the same thing. And really, it was all over the world what was happening. They approved Governor Gavin Newsom's ridiculous plan to impose a 100% ban on all new gas-powered cars within a very short period of time. Think of this. You couldn't buy any other car except an electric-powered car. And in California, they have blackouts and brownouts. They don't have enough electricity right now to do the job. And countrywide, you'd have to spend $4 trillion to build the firing plants, to be able to, they call it they call it a lot of things, charging plants, firing plants. $4 trillion you'd have to spend. In the Midwest, they built 9 of them. 9 individual, it's like a pump. It's just like a pump, except instead of gas, electricity comes out. They built 8 of them. $9 billion they spent for 8 little hoses, $9 billion. Now, I'm sure they could have done it for about, 1/1000th of that, but even if they did, it's unaffordable. They approved Governor Gavin's ridiculous. Is so ridiculous. By the way, if I didn't bring the military in, Los Angeles would be burning down right now. Be burning just like his damn houses burned down because he didn't have the water that he should have had. He had so much water. They have so much water. We had to send in the military to free up the water, and we did that right after the fires. We told them to do it in the first term. But just like that ridiculous plan, this is a plan to ban. Think of it, a plan to ban 100, and they call it the 100% ban on all new gas-powered cars, and abolish 75% of the gas-powered trucks. 75%. The trucking industry saw me. They said, "Sir, it doesn't work." Number one, the trucks are so heavy. They're 2.5 times heavier than a diesel-powered truck. So one of the big truckers owns 28,000 trucks, big company, tremendous company. He said, "I go out of business immediately. I'm not going to play games." He said, "Did you explain these things to the government officials? Like the truck weighs 2.5 times more than a regular truck, a gasoline-powered diesel." And he said, based on that, we have to rebuild every bridge in the United States of America because it wasn't designed to hold cars and trucks that heavy because the batteries are very heavy. They're, probably lead. They have a lot of things in those batteries that weigh a lot. But it's 2.5 times. It's a simple number, 2.5 times. And if you want to do this, you have to spend trillions and trillions of dollars on rebuilding every bridge in the United States, and I guess throughout the world, because they do follow us. And the big rig buses and even cement trucks, they want to abolish certain categories of truck, but they want to go 75% of all of these trucks have to be abolished almost immediately. I mean, the time is just crazy. And they don't go far. Another little problem. With a tank of diesel, you can go from New York to Los Angeles if you want to go to Los Angeles right now. But New York to Los Angeles, and you can go back a little bit. With the electric truck, you'll stop approximately 6 times. Enjoy your stop. And the truckers saw me, and I said, did you just explain this? Because this is like, you know, if you explain it, if a person's reasonable for that, he said, we explained it, they didn't care. They said, we're going all electric. They can't be stupid, because anybody that can cheat on elections like them is not a stupid person. But they must hate our country. But I said to this big trucker, I said, sir, I've been buying trucks my whole damn life. He's a rough guy, smart guy. He said, I got thousands of them. I've been buying them for 50 years. And every single year they got better. They got more efficient, they got bigger, they got stronger. I build apartments in my trucks now for the drivers. I said, what's an apartment? That's on the cab. They put this in. And sir, I know you like luxury, but you wouldn't mind living in one of these. I said, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. I mean, it doesn't sound too appealing, but I said, so what's the problem? He said, so I noticed one thing. For 50 years, every single year, one thing happened. They got better. They got stronger, they got more efficient, they got faster, they could carry any load. If we went to this standard, we'd go back beyond 50 years. They wouldn't go as far as a truck from 50 years ago. It would be too heavy and have all the other problems. He said, we'd be going backwards. We'd be taking a trucking industry, would be starting all over, but actually it would be worse because it was better 50 years ago than. So I said, what are you going to do if I don't win this election? This was before the election. He said, you don't win the election, I'm going to close up my business because I'm not going to lose he said, I'm not going to lose my ass. I know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be a catastrophe. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. They're making you buy stuff that doesn't work. It's no good. It doesn't work. And I'm all for electric. If you want to buy electric, you can buy electric. Cars are great. If you buy the right ones, cars are great. And you should be given the option, buy the electric car, buy a gasoline-powered car, buy a hybrid. Probably not hydrogen, because hydrogen has a tendency that when it blows up, you're gonzo. It's over. They find you 75 yards down the road, you know. Where is he? Well, I think that's him, but I'm not sure. So, you know, they said, we think we can solve the problem. I said, that's not good enough when they think. No, it sounds like it's quite severe. If it doesn't work, Steve, it'll work most of the time, but if it doesn't, it's over. It'll make your accident look like peanuts compared. You wouldn't be around, I'll tell you, because it's pretty bad. But some people like it. I don't know. Let's see what happens. But I would say it's off to a bad start. But because of the size of California's population and the fact that 17 other states follow California, that's the problem. 17 other states follow California. They have the most ridiculous laws I've ever seen for a lot of things. This is just cars, and trucks, and they have a lot of them for other things. But it's called the California Car Standards, and this horrible scheme would effectively abolish the internal combustion engine, which most people prefer. Like so far, I'd say about 90%. In fact, General Motors announced yesterday they're going to spend about $6 billion because of tariffs, and maybe because of my election on November 5th, but because of tariffs, I think, more than anything. They're all coming back. They're coming back from other countries that took them 25, 30 years ago. They're all coming back. We have now almost $15 trillion. They had almost nothing last year, and the year before, they've very, very little. Nobody wanted to be back here. Nobody wanted to come to our country anymore because we were like stupid people. We looked like stupid people. We were laughed at all over the world. Now we're not laughed at anymore, I can tell you that. But they wanted to shatter our domestic supply chains, and literally grind civilization to a halt. We would have gone so far back. It's hard to believe, actually. Hard to believe when you don't have enough electricity to give a person a little air conditioning in the summer, and now they want you to take electricity and fire up all these cars. But we're not going to let that happen. Meanwhile, all of the auto jobs would be shipped to China because they're very strong on electric, and it lives off an estimated 200,000 American auto workers would be destroyed. It's one of the reasons I did so well with the United Auto Workers. And now I'm really doing well with them. I did phenomenally with them. No Republican ever got any numbers like I got. In the Teamsters too. Sean O'Brien, the head of the Teamsters. These guys, they like Trump because I produce jobs. They know that. Everybody knew that. The auto workers knew better than anybody how good the tariffs were. And the head of the auto breakers, I don't know him at all, but he didn't like me at all. Now he's going around saying, this guy's unbelievable. He was very nice to me the last few months. During the campaign, no, but if I've proven, I've proven it. I've done what I said I was going to do, and we've brought back tremendous numbers of jobs. And you're having auto plants built all over the country. All over. There's never seen anything like that. They're leaving from Mexico. They're leaving from Canada. They're leaving from other parts of the world. If they want a Mercedes-Benz, you're going to have it made here. It's okay to have a Mercedes, but they're going to make it here. Otherwise, they're going to pay a very big tariff. They already are. That's one of the reasons we have $88 billion. It's a lot of money. But that's peanuts compared to what we're going to be making in another few months. They haven't even kicked in yet. But we're not going to let any of these bad things happen, these stupid projections that I've been reading about for the last 6 months. I think these people are either corrupt or really dumb. And they're supposed to be economists. In the campaign, I promised to end this disaster, and today our Republican majorities in Congress have delivered. And I don't know, I can't imagine. It's so obvious. It's so good. Did we get any Democrat votes? Did we get 1, 2? Who? 35. I think that's great. I think that's great. You got 35 Democrats. I think that's great. That, as far as I'm concerned, 1 in the Senate. On something that's so good. But who is the one? Well, I shouldn't have asked. I congratulate her. I don't care. I think it's great. It's very interesting. Why did I ask that question, Mr. Smith? But in a few moments, I'll sign 3 pieces of legislation that will totally kill. You can't do anything about it. They can't take us to court. They can't do any of the things they can do with the executive orders. And it's permanent. I'll sign 3 pieces of legislation that will kill the California mandates forever, and they're never coming back. Now, the auto companies are the most happy because now they're going to be designing and building one auto. It will be much cheaper. It's a much less expensive. They were showing me, one of the most respected people was showing me that to save a little, like a half a glass of fuel, cost them thousands of dollars with new computers and stop it. The engine has to stop and then turn on and blah, blah, blah. And I said, does it work as well? No, it's terrible. It's terrible. And that's to save a little bit of fuel, this much fuel that Chris Wright can produce with one extra little oil well someplace, right? One little, a small one, a very small one. But think of it. Your cars are going to cost you $3,000, $4,000 less, and you're going to have what you want. And again, you can get any car you want. You can get electric. A lot of people love the electric. They like Tesla. So do I, in all fairness. I like Tesla. And I like others too. But I also like combustion engines. And there are reasons for a lot of things. When I was in Iowa, we had an unbelievable victory, if you remember. Remember? That was nice. You won by so much. Nobody even talked about anything else, but that was a great victory. But it was unbelievably cold that night, and I was going to watch my victory in the area where I was going to make a speech, and the whole place was littered with cars. I said, what happened? They were electric cars, and they don't work in cold. I said, I didn't know that. And they don't work in extreme heat either. Other than that, they're wonderful. But if you're in a cold climate, how do you do that? But they're electric cars, and I noticed that, and then I didn't pay much attention because we won by about 65 points. So I was more interested in that. But I do remember that scene. I said, what the hell is going on over here? This historic action will also help us reduce inflation and bring down the price of automobiles and electricity very, very substantially. We're building massive electricity right now. It's already started because of that guy right there, Lee Zeldin. By far the most important man in the room, Mr. Speaker. Stand up, Lee. He blows you guys away, John. He blows the politicians away. I'm sorry right now. He's a great politician, though. He almost won for governor in New York, which is just missed by a few points. And that was another race that was not winnable, but you almost got it. But I think what you're doing now is even bigger if you want to know the truth. I think it's actually more important if you can believe that. Under the previous regime, car prices skyrocketed as a direct result of the mandates. These mandates, this nonsense that you had to do, and they had so many other rules and regulations that the car companies who are here today appreciate that. And Susie Wiles is here today. Stand up, Susie. Most incredible woman. Most powerful woman in the world, they say. She's the most powerful. She was rated the most powerful woman in the world. Susie Wiles. One phone call and a nation is destroyed. She could destroy 5 nations with 5 calls, and she's doing a great job. More importantly, right? Doing a great job. There's nobody like. Energy prices would likewise soar as a radical left forced more electric vehicles onto the grid while blocking approvals for new power plants. They want to block the approvals. They want you to have a car with electric, but they block the production of the juice that runs the cars, and all of them, all forms of cars. It's just the craziest thing. We're in a different sphere now. We're in a whole different planet right now. The result would be rolling blackouts and a collapse of our power systems. We'd have a total collapse. You couldn't do it. You couldn't even do it. Think of it, they're forcing you to do something, and they want you to do boats also. I assume boats are being covered by this, and boats, they want you to go all electric, and the batteries are so heavy, the damn boat practically doesn't float. I used to have a lot of fun talking about that one on the tours. We'd talk about it. And I said, what would happen if the boat sank? Because we went to North Carolina, South Carolina. We visited boat factories. Unbelievable guys. And they said, sir, we have one problem. They're forcing us to go electric for the boat. I said, how's it going to work? The boat will not float, sir. It's so heavy, and it won't go fast, and lots of other. And I did ask him a question because I have a lot of background. My uncle was a big shot at MIT, the smartest guy. He never had a smarter guy, and I guess I have a little of that. My first question was, what would happen if the boat sank? Do you get electrocuted? Remember I said that? And I used to be decimated by these people back here, right? I used to be decimated. They'd say, what kind of a crazy question is that? So I'm actually serious. What happens if you're an electric boat and the boat is going down? You're in trouble, Susie. And I used to say, remember, I'd get decimated. The audience loved it, but the press would laugh at it. I said, so if I have my choice of going down or jumping 5 or 6 yards away from the boat, but there's a shark there, what do I do? You know what I said? I'd rather be electrocuted. I said, I'll take electrocution every single day. But actually, he said, nobody's ever asked me that question, sir. He makes boats. Nobody ever asked me that question. This is really an unusual question. He said, and honestly, I don't have the answer. He wasn't able to. I said, don't worry about it. If I win, you won't have to worry about it. But today we're saving California, and we're saving our entire country from a disaster. Your cars are going to be thousands of dollars less money. And even the ones that, if you buy electric, we're not going to make you do certain things that are just a waste of money and just time-consuming waste of money. They make you do things that are no good for anybody, make the car worse, and make it much more expensive. Over the past 5 months, our administration and Republicans in Congress have fought for the American auto worker and for Teamsters and for, by the way, right to work. We have them all. We have, we just call them just workers. We fought for workers like no one has ever fought before. I understand that. It's why we won. We won with workers. We won with young people. I just saw with TikTok, I was #1 on TikTok in its history. Can you believe that? So I guess I like TikTok. That's why they're saying, are you saving? And we probably will save TikTok, actually. But on my first day in office, I ended the Green New Scam and abolished the EV mandate at the federal level. We abolished it, which is basically that everybody will be driving an electric car within a very short period of time. Now I know why Elon doesn't like me so much, which he does, actually. He does. And he never had a problem. It's very interesting. This is not something new. This has been there from day one, Speaker, right? We're going to abolish the EV mandate. And Elon still endorsed me because, honestly, he never, ever spoke to me about that. And I used to say, I'm amazed that he's endorsing me because that can't be good for him. I'm abolishing the EV mandate. And I once asked him about it. You never talked to me about that. He said, well, as long as it's happening to everybody, I'll be able to compete. It was a very interesting answer. I thought it was a very honest answer, to be honest with you. And I talked about it, that incredible, you would have thought he would have been from day one. You got to make sure you don't do the EV mandate, the abolishing, and never did. Very honest in that sense. And he did say to me, I actually asked him because it was like really strange how I'm with him. He's very, friend of mine, and he makes electric cars, and we're saying you're not going to be able to make electric cars, or you're not going to be forced to make all of those cars. You can make them, but it'll be by the market, judged by the market. And that's what he said. He said, as long as I'm on the same plane as everybody else, we're going to do good. We make a better product. I said, that's very cool. It's very cool. That was my answer. After that, he got a little bit strange, but I don't know why, over much smaller things than that. As part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, will also further slash the funding for the Green New Scam. As you know, it's the greatest scam in history, saving American taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars. The windmills are killing our country, by the way. The fields are littered with them, junk. They're littered with them. And they get older, and they get rusty, and they get bad, and they get... This is other countries also. It's the greatest scam in history. It's the most expensive energy you can buy. They're ugly. A friend of mine comes from Minnesota. He's been in New York. He hit it big. He's a very successful guy, actually. And he wanted to go back, see his mother who's not well. And he went back to Minnesota. Hasn't been back there in 20 years. And he said, it's unbelievable what happened. He said, I'm driving down a highway and up a certain road, and the most beautiful fields. I remember them so well, and I was so looking forward to seeing them again. And I looked at them, and they had windmills all over them, these horrible, horrible structures. He's a very smart guy, this guy. And he said, these ugly, horrible things. And he said, it was so bad, I actually drove back to see it because I couldn't believe it. Before I even got to my mother, I drove back. I said, how much do you like your mother? But no, it hurt him to see it. He said, I looked at this field that was one of the most beautiful places in my own mind and imagination that I've ever seen. And I said, it's littered with this garbage. It looked like a junkyard, he said. And some, then you get different manufacturers, and they don't look alike, and they're not painted alike, different colors. You have, even if they're white, one's a beigey white, one's a darker white, one's a lighter white. And then they start to rust after 4 or 5 years. And then they start to wear out, and nobody takes them because you're not allowed to bury the propellers, the props, right? You can't bury the props for some reason. I don't know why, but they say that you can't bury a certain type of fiber, and if it goes in the ground, we're all going to die.